We have the power. We have the power to heal ourselves. And the biggest, fastest way to heal ourselves is to heal our minds and the way we see life. Unfortunately, we are not taught about this power at a young age where it would be the most advantageous for us. Because when we're young, we're in this state of being conditioned easier. And as we age, those early onset conditionings, they kind of become a part of our makeup, and they're hard to break away from. So just imagine if we were taught when we were 4, 5, 6, 7 years old that we were kings and queens, and that health was wealth. And that if we understand how the body works and understand how the body is very much in unison with the way that we think, we would be so much better off than we are today as a whole. This particular Power Tool Daily is created for the purpose of educating and motivating people to take more responsibility for their own health and wellness. One of the hardest things for me to have to deal with is seeing loved ones fall sick, because I realize that the body is always trying to talk to you. It's always trying to let you know how things are going on, how things are going in the inside. And if you're not paying attention, if you don't stop with the sugar, the cigarettes, the alcohol, all of these things that are acting as stimulants, if you will, if you don't take a little bit of a time away from those things, it'll be hard to really listen to what the body is trying to tell you. I was diagnosed with lupus when I was like 18, 19 years old. And I remember asking the doctor, what was wrong with me, what was going on. And my doctor said, okay, we have to do a biopsy and figure out what this lesion is, and we'll let you know. And then I asked another question. I said, okay, now that we know that it's lupus, where did I get it from? Is it contagious? Is it hereditary? And I remember the dermatologist actually saying at the same time as his assistant two different things. He said, no, it's not hereditary. She said, yes, or genetic. And it was in that moment that I decided, thank you, but no thank you. He told me there was no cure for it and told me that I would be on steroids for the rest of my life, basically. And that just wasn't an option for me. It wasn't something I wanted to do. And I remember gratefully, I was in college and I met this young lady who happened to be a vegetarian. I never became a vegetarian, interesting enough though, but I stopped eating everything except for salmon when it comes to animal flesh. I started incorporating more fruits and berries into my diet, started to learn more about health and wellness, and started to learn more about how food played a big part in your health and your wellness, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. It was just uncanny how fast my energy shot up, how great I started to feel, how my mindset started to become. I realized, wow. And it made sense, because what do we do every day besides breathe? We eat for the most part. We're stuffing our face. And unfortunately, we've been conditioned to stuff our face with things that are not even really technically food. So this video is to bring hope to those of us who need a reminder or who have never learned that we have a lot more power than we've been conditioned to believe. If you are someone who's suffering from something, any kind of ailment, any emotional stress, any mental unease, my advice would first and foremost be to check your diet. I would say, if you can, let go of the stimulants for at least a week or two, just so that you can hear your body, just so that you can feel what your body naturally feels like off of these stimulants. Because when you get into that feeling, and then you start incorporating things like fruits and berries and melons and salads back into your diet, you'll know whether or not they have a positive effect on your body's ailments. But when you're on stimulants, such as the sugars and the alcohols and the cigarettes and any other drugs or things that we do to kind of like numb what we don't want to feel, we don't feel sometimes what we need to feel in order to know how to make sure our body is in harmony. So again, I learned early on, thank goodness, shortly after I was diagnosed with lupus, that I could control my symptoms by what I put in my body. I'm not on medication today. I'm not in any pain today. And I hope that this helps anybody out there who is suffering. You do not have to be on medication for the rest of your life. You do not have to be a slave to anybody else's idea of your condition or experience of your condition for the rest of your life. You can do your own research, and I advise you to. Because the more you know, the more informed you'll be, the more empowered you'll be to really understand more about your condition. Water, foods that are alkalizing to the body, such as lemon, turmeric, ginger. One of my favorite green leafy vegetables is arugula because it's not so super high in vitamin K, but it has a little bit of a kick to it in terms of, taste. I mean, get familiar with these natural fruits and vegetables, because that was the best thing that I think I did for myself, was to understand that there are some great tasting fruits and vegetables out there that I now crave and can't live without, that are actually healing me. And I hope this message helps someone out there to understand that you have more control than you think you do. And you can break a habit just like you started the habit, one day at a time. But you don't have to be a slave, and you don't have to be a victim. But you have to take action, and you have to make the choice to take your health and wellness into your own hands. Go and get your vitamin levels checked. Go and see if you're deficient in something. See if you're not absorbing something. Let your body talk to you. But in order to do that, you have to experience your body. And you can't do that if you're always numbing it for whatever reason. Health is wealth.